All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this beautiful show, Find Your Voice with the Oxygen. I'd like to say that it's a beautiful Monday morning in this month of October, and I am certain that we will find solutions to everything that we feel may be plaguing us. But today on the show, we're looking at how to reinvent yourself during difficult times. How to reinvent yourself during difficult times. We are in difficult times and we are asking, how do I navigate? How do I deal with these times? What do I do? We've been talking about this for quite a while, and that is the way we help you find your voice. And this is why the show comes your way every Monday morning at 10 a.m. on the best radio station you can find on the internet, and that is Grace Impact Radio, where we have word, music, and entertainment all coming together and bringing value to your lives every day. And I do this, I'm the Oxygen, every Monday morning is my time, 10 a.m. Just stay glued to this show and enjoy the best of it. And today, like I said, we'll be talking about how to reinvent yourself during difficult times. I believe that reinvention is one of the most empowering tools that we have. And what does it do for you? It helps you, especially in times of uncertainty. And so if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling that nothing's working, you're trying everything you've tried before, you've talked to people, it looks like your life is just on pause. Don't worry, we'll find a way out of it this morning. And that's why today's episode is just strictly for those who have the situation that they're dealing with, or someone who might be dealing with such a situation or feeling stuck or feeling overwhelmed. That's why we're bringing it to you, and this show will give you the platform for personal growth and success. So I'd advise you, wherever you're right now, share. If you're watching on Facebook, share right now and get across to your friends and tell them, look, let's come on board, check out this show. It's a great show that you need to be a part of, and you will learn a lot this morning. I'll be sharing with you how you can reinvent yourself in difficult times. Now, I very much want to apologize for those of you who are very, very good in timekeeping. We started a bit late because we're dealing with some technical glitches, but I'm glad we're able to resolve it thanks to my very astute and devoted producer who ensures that nothing takes him unawares. We've been able to deal with that issue and reinvented, and that's why we're talking to you on the show live right here on Gracie Park Radio. And so we're going to be delving straight into the first segment of the show because of time, and I want to talk to you real quick about signs that tell you that it's time for you to reinvent. Signs it's time for reinvention. There are certain things that happen to you that begin to speak to your heart and make you know that it is time for me to reinvent myself. How do I know that? What do I need to find? What are the signs that tell me that it's time for me to reinvent? Simple. I'm going to give you those signs real quick. Now, let's deal with them one by one. One of the signs you will get is burnout. When you start experiencing burnout, you'll begin to notice that you're tired, you're stressed out, you have a burnout, you're overstretching. Just know that it's time for you to reinvent. The second thing you may feel is stagnation. You get to a point where you feel like you're stuck. It feels like, listen, every effort you're making, it's not adding up. Nothing seems to be working. It's like I'm stuck in a rut. I don't know what to do. I feel stagnant. I was talking to a young lady yesterday, and she said, I'm just tired of life. Look, I don't know what to say, sir. I'm tired. I'm just tired of life. Now, she felt so stuck. She felt so stagnated. And I said, you know what? Can we break the tiredness into bits and pieces? Let's look at the life challenges one by one. And interestingly, she had three major areas that she was dealing with, and we began to piece them one by one. And that's a sign that she needed to reinvent herself. And I helped her to, walk around some of the things she needed to do. And she left my office yesterday after church very excited and happy that solution was already provided. So that's the second feeling you may have, feeling stagnant. That feeling of stagnation is a sign that you need to reinvent yourself. The third one is when you feel that you're not just aligned with your true purpose, when you feel that everything you're doing is not falling in place, it's not in agreement, it's not in tandem with what you are originally created to do. You know yourself, you know your capacities, you know your inner strength, you know your abilities, but suddenly you just realize that, look, I am not in alignment with my true purpose. You will know it. That's not something anybody should ask me, how will I know? You will know. I mean, it's this inner feeling. You just know it. It's just there. Like, I'm not aligned with my true purpose. There's something I'm created to do. There's something I crave and long to do. There's something I always know that when I step into that shoes, I feel like I'm flying without wings. But right now, I'm not feeling that way. It's not working. I've tried to look at myself and I see that I'm not in my space. I am not aligning with my true purpose. When you have these three feelings I've shared with you, there could be more, but these are the predominant ones, and I like staying with the areas of best fit. When you find that you're feeling strong burnouts, you're feeling stagnant, or you're not aligned with your true purpose, then know that it's time to reinvent yourself. All right? And so some of us get stuck in jobs or roles that no longer fit us, where we keep pushing through simply because it's what we've always done. Right? We just tell ourselves, oh well, let's just stay in there. What do we do? You have that feeling. But guess what? That's the universe simply telling you that it's time for change. It's time for change. I mean, doesn't it happen? You get into an association, a relationship, and after a couple of years, it's not what it used to be. Isn't it clear that it's time to reinvent? I mean, that's your spirit, your soul telling you, come on, something's got to come in, something's got to give. Oh, well, thank you, Omashe Olushe. Is it Omowaye Olushola Noah? You're watching. Thanks, guy, for joining. Daniel Gift, you said absolutely 100%. Thanks, man. So just keep your comments coming. I'll see them and I'll respond to it. If you have a question along the line, too well to ask, right on the show, and I will respond on set right here. So, that feeling is there. It's time for change. Or maybe you've been laid off your business or laid off a job, or your business is not working as it used to be and you're struggling. Okay, you're just there and you're wondering what's going on with me. You're struggling maybe due to the economic downturn. Instead of feeling like you're lost or feeling like you've failed, someone said to me, I feel like I've failed. I feel like I'm worthless. I said, you're not worthless. You see, this is just the universe telling you, listen, it's an opportunity for you to reinvent and find a new path. It's an opportunity for you to turn around, make a U-turn or take a new turn, just do something different. So I want you to reflect today. Are there areas in your life where you feel stuck or no longer aligned with your true self or who you truly are? Do you have that feeling? Are there areas in your life where you feel like, oh man, this is not who I used to be. This is not me. Something is amiss. Do you have that feeling? Oh yeah, if you do, that is a sign that you need to reinvent. That is a sign that it's time for you to reinvent yourself. So we're going to be talking about that in the second segment. But just before I go into a music break, let me share something with you. All right. I like you to think of a man called Steve Jobs, of blessed memory now, the founder of Apple. Something happened to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs came up and started a company called Apple. And somewhere along the line, the board sat and voted him out. And he was ousted from his own company that he founded. He was ousted. The company he co-founded, he was thrown out. But instead of giving up, I listened to his presentation on this subject and I was thrilled. It touched a lot in my life. And he went ahead and reinvented himself. He didn't allow that setback to knock him out. He went ahead, reinvented himself, launched new ventures, right, including Pixel videos and all of that, and started something new. He learned more about himself, reinvented himself, started new ventures, and eventually returned to the same Apple to lead it to even greater heights. That's the message. That's what we're looking at this morning. All right. So the story of Steve Jobs simply, it just shows that what feels like a setback is just a setup for an incredible comeback. I think that statement hits home. Let me repeat it. What may feel to you like a setback is just a setup for an incredible comeback. You want to write it down, put a hashtag, put my name under it. It's a quote. Sometimes what feels to you as a setback is just a setup for an incredible comeback. And I can tell you for free, take it to the bank, that if you listen in carefully, and follow through with this show today, you will reinvent yourself and you will find out that there are better things that you can do with your life out there if only you're willing to reinvent. Just before I step into the second segment of the show, we're going to be listening to a very beautiful song by Blessing Ofo titled Brighter Days. Enjoy it, and I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It's your show, Find Your Voice with the Oxygen. And I'll tell you something, wait, it's going to be brighter days coming your way as you reinvent yourself. And I tell you something real quick, guys. This show is designed for you. That's why we call it Find Your Voice with the Oxygen. And we're stepping into the second segment of the show. And in the second segment, what are we doing? We want to talk about steps for personal reinvention. I'm interested in your welfare and I want you to be great. I want you to do better than you have ever done. I want you to come out of this quagmire and be a better person and stronger and greater, achieving the real life goals that God has set before you. And so the steps for personal reinvention, now we know and we've recognized the signs and how we can just find out if we're needing reinvention or something. Now that we know that, what do? We want to look at how we can start reinventing ourselves. So it's one thing to know the challenges, the signs, and all of that. It's yet another thing to know how and when to start reinventing. Now, I'd like you to know something real quick, that all of these things require taking action. I am big on taking action, and I tell people no matter the advice you're given, no matter the words that come to you, until you act on them, nothing's gonna change. All right, you just feel better, feel good internally, but there'll be no physical change, no transformation out there because you've not taken action. So, reinvention is a step by step process, and it's not something that happens like the Big Bang Theory. It's a step by step process, and I knew that because things require some time, you need to begin to take the right steps. So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 steps that you need to take real quick, and you'll begin to see changes in your life. The first is you need to access your current situation. You need to access your current situation. The question there is, where am I right now? What's working for me? Do a self-audit. What's not working? What's working? Take some time out, sit down, and do a self-audit. All right, I do this for myself from time to time. I sit down and I look at my life. I ask myself, why am I stuck? Why am I feeling stuck? What's happening? Where did this this situation get bad? When did I start feeling this way? At what point did something change? When did I lose my groove? I do a self-audit. Recently, I sat back and I was having the conversation, and I said to myself, say, you know what, guy? Between this year and this year, you were great. You were feeling so enthused and excited and super joyful. Everything around you was like top notch. At this point, something began to happen. What happened at this point of your life? You started losing some stuff. What happened? And I discovered that at that point, something happened, and I traced back and I said, oh, from this point, that was when I started having these challenges, and up until this time. So every stage of my life, I began to pick what went wrong, where it started, when things nosedived, and I said, if I fix this, it means this problem will be taken care of. That's self-audit. You need to do that. Assess your current situation. Do a self-audit. Self-audit, like I said, is simple. Check your life, look at what's working, look at what's not working, find out at what point it started working or at what point it stopped working, what were the circumstances around them. That's the first thing. And when you find those circumstances, begin to consciously make changes at those points where you notice those situations, and then you will begin to find that things will begin to work out for you. The second thing you need to do is to visualize your ideal future. I was having this kind of audit conversation with someone yesterday to help the lady reinvent herself, just yesterday. And I said to her, after we did an analysis we did a self-audit, I helped her work out a self-audit. What are the issues in your life? She said everything. I said it can't be everything. Tell me exactly what you're facing right now. She busted out crying, but she began to tell me this area is not working. I said, okay, let's audit each area of your life. And you know what? The first area she mentioned, she had actually fixed the problem. But because she was overwhelmed, she didn't realize it. And when we started talking, I asked her 3 times, so this thing you said was a problem, have you resolved it? She said, yes, someone was introduced to me and the person helped me, and this is the position of things. I said, well, last time you called the person, said it's been resolved. That one is clear. I said, you see, what you were still carrying as a burden had been resolved. And she didn't realize it because she didn't do a self-audit. After the self-audit, we finished that, we moved to stage 2, visualize your ideal future. And I said to this young lady, what is your life supposed to be by your own imagination from when you would have left university? At what stage would you have left university? At what age? She told me. And between then and now, where do you think you should have been right now? And she told me what she felt her life would have been. So I said, okay, so visualize it. Let's write it down. And we picked a pen and paper and she wrote. She closed her eyes for a moment and she imagined the best version of herself and what she would be doing, right? And I said to her, so what are you doing right now? What are you, who are you helping? In what way is this vision you're seeing right now translate into your life today? And so that is the second stage. Visualize your ideal future. Visualize your ideal future and take note of it. What would you have been doing, all things being equal? That's the second step of reinventing yourself. Visualize your ideal future. Right now, this is where I'm supposed to be, all things being equal. Somebody will say, no, it's not possible. Things cannot. Listen, until you visualize, you can't even walk towards it. That's the truth. If you say things cannot happen in your work, when you remain stuck, you're not ready to reinvent. Step number 3, learn and grow. Now you visualize your ideal future. What are those things you would need to achieve them? So reinvention often requires gaining new skills, requires gaining new knowledge. Maybe it's time for you to take that online course. Maybe it's time for you to learn a new trade. Maybe it's time for you to, to do something. Use this time of hardship to invest in yourself. Learn and grow. That's the third point. Learn and grow. That future you see will require certain skill sets for you to get to that point. What are those skill sets you need? Begin to invest in them now. Now, not tomorrow. Right now. Sometimes people say, well, I don't have money, I need money. I agree. What would you do to earn money? Identify it. What skills do I need to achieve that goal that will make me earn money? Identify it. Then begin to learn that skill. That's what I'm talking about. Learn and grow. And then number 4, take bold action. I like to repeat that. Take bold action. What does that mean? Change is very scary. I must confess to you. I'm sitting right here and I'm talking to you in the studio, and someone might say, wow, this guy is loaded. Yes, I'm loaded, but man, I tell you the truth, change is scary, but you won't get anywhere by standing still. You won't get anywhere by standing still. So you need to start with small actions and that align with your future vision, and keep pushing forward even when fear kicks in. Align, take those small actions, push forward. When you are afraid, still move. Still move. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the realization that there's something greater than fear. So still push. Take bold action. Step out there. Do those things. If you have to challenge status quo, please go ahead. I learned something very new yesterday. I was watching someone who was sharing, and they said, for you to write a new template, you need to challenge status quo. That as long as you continue to stand on what has been done, you are following someone else's template, and you will not get any result beyond what they got. But if you challenge status quo and you do something, you muddle the waters a bit, you step out and break away from the norm and try something new. After some time, the first time you'll be called a rebel. After some time, others will join you. You become the template. Take bold action. That's what I'm talking about. You will become the template. Take bold action. It can be tough. It can be scary, but I promise you, you will not regret it. You will not regret it. I can say that to you. I read a story and I'll share that with you. A story about Vera Wang. Vera Wang, a lady, her story is so much interesting. Vera Wang was a figure skater. She didn't make it to the Olympics during her time. She tried and it didn't work. She later became a journalist, right? But she reinvented herself in her 40s. When I read the story, I was so enthused. I was amazed. She reinvented herself in her 40s, and by turning, she left journalism. She tried to be a skater. It didn't work. She didn't make Olympics. She stepped into the field of journalism. In her 40s, she decided to break away into fashion design. Eventually, guess what? She became one of the world's top bridal designers. Vera Wang. You can Google her up. You can check her online. Vera Wang. She became one of the world's top bridal designers. So she didn't allow age or past failures or current struggles to stop her from becoming the best version of herself. That can be you. Sorry, that can be me too. I like that story. I want to reinvent myself. I want to be the man that's talked about everywhere in this nation and beyond the shores of Africa. It's my dream. But you know what? I'm so generous to share this with you, because to be honest with you, everything I'm sharing with you today is something I'm also dealing with right now. Yes, I'm trying to reinvent myself. Truth be told, it's something I'm working on myself. But I just felt, listen, you're finding your voice. Help others find their voice too. That's why I'm sharing this stuff with you today, because hey, my friends, listen, you too need to reinvent yourself. There's hardly anybody in this country today with the current economic realities that we face that shouldn't be thinking about reinventing themselves right now. There's hardly any business in this country today that shouldn't be thinking about reinventing themselves right now. Everyone should. Yes, we all need to. So if you have a comment, you can put it up, send it across to me on the platform Grace Impact Radio on MixLR, and I'll respond to you real time. If you're on Facebook, you do well to just send me a chat, send me a comment, and I'll respond to you, because I want us to have a conversation in the remaining time that I've got. Whatever it is you want to share, please do talk to me. Let's talk about this thing. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you're facing, the challenges you might be facing, what you might be dealing with. Let's have a conversation around it. Just talk to me. And if you want to talk to me in private after now, you want us to have a session, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp. You can even send a WhatsApp message right now while the show is going on, and I'll respond to you real time. And so the WhatsApp number is +237 +237. Oh, sorry, +234. I beg your pardon. What am I saying? Am I out of Nigeria? Sorry, guys, I'm still in Nigeria. +234. I beg your pardon. 706 437 2015. +234 706 437 2015. I take it one more time. +234 706 437 2015. That's a WhatsApp number. You can just chat me up, and then we'll have this conversation rolling. So let's look at the third thing that I believe will lead us to the El Dorado that we're all craving to get to. And that is the third segment of the show, which is success stories of reinvention. You know, when you're trying to achieve something, you need examples. You need people who've been there, who've done this thing before, and you can use that as a guide to also navigate the murky waters and also get to that point where you want to get to. So I'm going to share a couple stories with you of people you may have heard about, very popular stories, by the way, and we're going to see how they navigated and how they were able to reinvent themselves. Okay, so, and that's the way we're going to wrap up the show today. So these stories I'm going to be sharing with you will show how bad things happen to people, and what seemed to be bad eventually was utilized for reinvention. So I want you to be inspired by these real life examples so that you too will know and understand that you can break free from your current circumstances. The first story I will share with you this morning is the story of Colonel Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. Now, the story goes that when he started KFC, he was 65 years old. Colonel Sanders was 65 years old when he started KFC. Amazing age. I mean, someone at 65 should be preparing for retirement, or should have been retired and should be in his country home and chilling, eating up all his pension and what have you. But that was when Colonel Sanders started out business. After several failed jobs, several failed ventures, he tried his hands on a couple of things, he failed. Tried his hands on businesses, he failed. And guess what? He could have given up. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. I've tried my best, I'm tired, I've done everything I should do, it's over, let me just walk away. He didn't. He reinvented himself in his senior years, and today KFC is one of the most recognized brands worldwide because a man reinvented himself. So many failures, job interviews, name it, ventures, he reinvented till he found that one thing that made a world of difference for him. Another man I love to talk about a great deal is Cosmas Maduka. Cosmas Maduka, the chairman of Koschari's group. I've sat under him once. I've listened to him severally on online platforms. I've watched conferences where he's had to speak, and I've listened to his story. So I didn't read this. I heard this one straight from him. I've listened to his story. And Cosmas Maduka's journey to success is a remarkable example that anyone who wants to reinvent himself should really, really pay attention to. And it's a great example of reinvention, right? He began as a street hawker after losing his father at the age of 4. He lost his dad at the age of 4. Pathetic, isn't it? And as a child, he sold akara. That's what he sold. Call it bean cakes, yeah, but he sold akara. That's what the young man sold at the time to help support his family, and of course later he became an apprentice at an auto repair shop. And I think when he finished, he was given 200 naira. Yeah. Now, despite the difficult circumstances, Maduka reinvented himself from a struggling young boy into a business tycoon, founding the Koscharis Group. Now, Koscharis is a conglomerate with interest in agriculture, automobile sales, and even much more. All right? His determination and willingness to embrace change made the world of difference, despite the setbacks he faced as a growing young man. And this is truly inspiring. Each time I come across his teaching or whatever presentation he has to do, I pay keen attention to it, because when I see a man who successfully reinvented himself that way, I'm amazed. There's so much more I can tell you about Cosmas Maduka, how he converted how many shares that he bought at some point to billions and all of that. So many stories. But the truth of the matter is, he did that because he was able to reinvent himself. There's so many stories out there. Or maybe let me just add one more to the list. Oh, I'm talking about the big boys today. Femi Otedola, the businessman and philanthropist. Femi Otedola is one of Nigeria's wealthiest men. We all know that. But you see, he reinvented himself throughout his career. Alright? He built a fortune. So I'm looking at it from those who started from scratch. I'm looking at it from those who have made it and had to still reinvent themselves. Okay, because it's not enough that, oh, I'm big, I'm here. And things could be tough even when you're big. And so you need to reinvent yourself. Right? After he had built a fortune in the oil and gas industry, he used his company, I think Zenon Petroleum. Yeah, Zenon. I remember Zenon Petroleum. What did Otedola do? After he faced significant challenges when the oil market took a downturn, instead of giving up, he pivoted to invest in other sectors such as power, invested in real estate, and invested in financial sector. And this was how he reinvented himself. Today, he's now known not only for his wealth, but is also known for his philanthropic efforts. Now, Otedola's ability to reinvent himself, even in the face of economic shifts, makes his story highly relatable for you and I who might be going through rough and tough times. So you see, the key takeaway in all of these stories that I've shared is that success is not linear. It's not a straight line. There are times when you can be doing well and you get stuck. Even when you think you're doing well, you just realize that no, something is missing. At that point, you need to reinvent yourself. You need to reinvent yourself. So reinvention is possible at any stage, at any age, and in any industry. You can reinvent yourself no matter where you find yourself. In an industry, at a certain age, a certain place and time of your life, it's something you truly can do. So let's wrap this show up today. I hope you've learned something. I believe you have. Reinvention is your superpower, guys. It's a superpower. It's a proof that no matter what life throws at you, you have the ability to pivot, adapt, and thrive. And as we wrap up today, I want you to ask yourself, what areas of my life could use a little reinvention? What areas of my life could use a little reinvention? It's a question you want to ask yourself. And where can I take bold steps to become the person I'm meant to be? And I want to say thank you guys for joining me on today's show, Find Your Voice with the Oxygen. Remember, tough times don't last, but tough people do. Those are the statement by Dr. Robert Scholar, who wrote the book, Tough Times Never Last, but Tough People Do. So keep pushing, keep evolving, and most importantly, find your voice. I'll be right here next week, same time, same station, and we'll be doing this again with you as the focal point. Enjoy yourself and have a beautiful new week. From me to you is God bless you. Ciao, ciao. See you around.